we're gonna play every deck type in Clash Royale, so at the end of the video we can decide which one is the best. Kicking things off, we have the Cycle category, and for that we're gonna be running 2.6 Hog Cycle, really the quintessential Cycle deck inside of Clash Royale. And guys, after each match we're gonna be rating each deck type out of 10, and overall at the end of the video we will come up with which deck type is the best. I'm honestly not sure because I feel like people always think Cycle decks are some of the best decks, but there's a lot of good competitors, I think, which will be stuff like Control decks and quite a few other things coming up. We're also going to have an interesting category. Oh yes, Golem. Guys, we're going to have a very interesting category coming up soon where I'm just going to find a random deck from TV Royale, some mid-ladder deck, and we're just going to play a category called What the Heck Is That, which is a special for all of the mid-ladder players out there, so hopefully we have fun with that. This guy actually does have the NATO, but honestly that's not too bad for us because it pulled the Night Witch back, which will give us a little bit more time to counter that. And guys, pretty much what a Cycle deck is just a deck that has a few staple cards in it, and then just a very quick cycle is really all there is to it. Just a very quick cycle to get to those staple cards as much as possible. And in a deck like 2.6, I mean, the staple cards are really just the Musketeer, the Ice Golem, and the Hog Rider, which you can then cycle to a lot using your cheap cards like Skeletons and Ice Spirit. I'm going to play my Hog Rider right now, even though it's right into an Executioner. I feel like it'll still get a lot of damage. The very good thing about Cycle decks, guys, is that you're going to be able to outcycle pretty much any deck in the game, so even if people have counters to you, which does happen a lot, you can still manage to outcycle them and get pretty nice damage usually. Just going to play my Evo Ice Spirit right here. Might be a bit of a mistake though, because I know this guy definitely wants to make a big Golem push. Yeah, he does go for that Golem. You guys know what's so weird to me is that when Executioner gets hit by an Ice Spirit, or like gets stunned or something, it just stays still for a second or two afterwards. It's very strange. And guys, honestly, Cycle decks have been some of the best decks in Clash Royale since pretty much the start of time. I think basically ever since stuff like Ice Spirit and Skeletons came out, Cycle decks have been ruling the game. And they've definitely developed quite a bit, but they really just always have Skeletons and Ice Spirit. There are some other options now, though. You can have, like, you know, Electro Spirit, you can have, you know, Goblins or Guards instead of the Skeletons, so there are some options. I think we're actually okay right here, guys. Look at that Evo Musketeer. Amazing. And his Golemites are going to my King Tower, so that is game over, and I'll see you guys in the next match. I'm going to give Cycle a 9 out of 10. It's going to be hard to beat that. Next up, we have the Bridge Spam category, and for that, we'll be playing Pekka Bridge Spam. I think the Bridge Spam players and Cycle players have pretty much been arch enemies for the longest time, pretty much ever since Bridge Spam became a thing inside of Clash Royale. What a Bridge Spam deck is pretty much just a deck that has a lot of cards that can very quickly get to your opponent's towers to basically punish them for either being low elixir or just having improper counters in Cycle. This guy unfortunately is playing 2.6, which is going to be one of the more annoying matchups in the game for our deck. I'm sure Pekka players can attest to that, because man, this is going to be so rough. He's just going to have so many different cards to counter us. I'll get the Ghost going in the back right here. I feel like Ghost is going to have to be one of the best cards for us in this matchup, so we have to make the most we can out of it. And guys, Bridge Spam is a very interesting archetype, or a very interesting deck category, I guess you could say, because I feel like it does get especially really broken when there's new broken cards in the game. Like, for example, when Goblinstein first came out, everyone was playing Bridge Spam because it just fits so well in it. So I feel like Bridge Spam really makes good use of broken cards especially, so sometimes it can just become the absolute best deck type in the game. And also, for example, when Ramrider was really good, Ramrider Bridge Spam was everywhere, and also I'm sure there are a lot of other cases too, like for example when Pekka was everywhere, people were running just different types of Pekka Bridge Spam decks when it could actually have that really long range, and it had a really good evolution too at first. Anyways, we are down a little bit of damage as of right now, but I feel like we can maybe do something with our Ghost here, but maybe not actually. I probably should have played my Ghost in front. Oh, he messed up the cannon right there, that's huge. Oh, I tried to predict Skeletons there. This deck is all about predictions, but I kind of epic failed on that. Even so, we got a little bit of damage, which is nice, and if he tries to Hog Rider, we can always get our minions going for that. Just have to have our Pekka kind of hovered here for a Hog Rider, because you do have to react somewhat quickly with it to full counter. I do kind of want to get to my Evo Battle Ram. That's definitely going to help us break through here. But yeah, when a deck has a lot of cheap responses, it's kind of hard to actually punish with Bridge Spam, which is really the goal of this deck, so yeah, I have no idea how we're going to do here. Wow, that was a beautiful Ghost right there. Somehow splashed that Ice Spirit. I was fully expecting that he would get a Hog hit right there, but luckily he didn't. Man, if we can win this matchup, that would actually be pretty impressive, because it really is not easy. I know I said that like 5 times already, but I can't stress enough how annoying 2.6 is as a Pekka player. I'm not a Pekka main, so luckily I don't have to suffer to that too much. Yeah, I knew he would Hog Rider there. That's why I didn't waste my Elixir. Being a good bridge spam player is just all about knowing how much Elixir your opponent has at all times. At least a general sense. You don't have to literally count the Elixir on your fingers, but at least having a general sense is quite important, I would say. I'm going to get my poison going here because I think he's probably going to cannon, hopefully. Oh, he does avoid the poison just a little bit. Oh, I think we're okay, though. As long as we keep on defending the Hogs well, we're in a decent spot. It's just that I know he's going to definitely start the fireball spamming very soon, which I'm not going to probably deal with too easily. That was a terrible Hog Rider. Wow, what a bad Hog Rider. And he fireballs a grand total of nothing. Smartest 2.6 player, man. The only thing raising the smartness of 2.6 players is the fact that I just finished playing 2.6. No offense, I'm just playing. By the way, guys, I'm feeling pretty good today, man. I got a 440-pound deadlift PR today. I'll show you guys the video later in this video. Wow, we take the tower there. Good game. I'll give the bridge spam category an 8 out of 10 because I feel like it does a really good job of capitalizing on the meta. It pains me to do this, but now it's time for the what the heck is that category, so I'm just going to take this TV Royale deck right here, some random weird Mega Knight deck, and hopefully we have any chance at all with this. The man who gave us this deck is representing all of mid-ladder right now, guys. We have like the most basic mid-ladder deck of all time right now, which people will probably just say what the heck is that when they face it. So yeah, we have like this Mega Knight weird kind of bait deck. We do have some decent cards up in here, though a little bit off meta with the Demolisher and the Witch and stuff like that. I mean, obviously it's going to be off meta, but it could actually do decent here against the Prince. You know, I'm kind of surprised that Witch is not used more in the meta because it genuinely is a pretty good Prince counter. Oh, I refuse to lose this early. I refuse to lose this early in the challenge. I know I'm going to have worse decks to play. Or will I? I'm actually not sure. Maybe I won't. But guys, I really want to win right here, man. These what the heck decks are good for the surprise factor. I will give it that, guys. These decks are definitely good to catch your opponent off guard. Even if they're not necessarily the strongest decks in the game, just having a good surprise factor in a deck is actually quite a nice thing. Which actually does get some very nice damage right there. That's a pretty good start. I'll get my Demolisher going in the back right now. It's actually been a while since I've played the Goblin Demolisher. I feel like it's not really the best card right now, but honestly, if it got a very small buff, I could see it being good. It's just that Bomber kind of seems to take over. But a lot of these mid-ladder players just use what they have leveled up. They don't even really try to play the strongest thing all the time. They just play what they can play, which is fair. Because it is better to have higher level cards than to have broken cards. Because if you have a very strong card, if it's too low level, you're probably still going to do bad with it. Wow, beautiful Firecracker. I'll play the Goblin Barrel right on the tower right here. This guy's tower is actually getting pretty low, so we're in a good spot. He does go for the Evo Mega Knight, though. So I guess I'll just go for my own Mega Knight here, guys. Does everyone in mid-ladder really run Mega Knight, guys? I feel like I do always face it. Like, I thought it was just a meme at first that people are like, oh, everyone plays Mega Knight in mid-ladder, but no, I for real face it every single game. I don't want to say I don't know why, because I do know why. It's just easy to play. It counters E-barbs and stuff like that. Wow, that Prince almost got on my tower. Wait, maybe I can just 3-crown this guy. He's going to take my tower, but... Wait, don't tell me he gets a Mega Knight off. If he gets a Mega Knight off, I'm dead. Wait, tell me I could take his... Wait, tell me I didn't just choke. If he goes for a Mega Knight, I don't know what to say. I think we got him, though. Yeah, we got him. Oh, yeah, this guy just panicked. That is a very easy 3-crown. Wow, this deck performed well. I'll give the what the heck is that category a 7 out of 10 just because people who make those decks are creative. Guys, our next category is going to be bait. There are quite a few bait decks in Clash Royale, but we're playing Logbait, which is definitely by far the most popular one. There are other stuff too, though, like for example, those mortar bait decks that have like the Bats, the Goblin Gang. I feel like quite a few decks in the game do have bait, but some of them more so have it as the center of the deck, like Logbait, but others just have it as kind of more of a subtle thing, like some decks, for example, might have like Archers and Minion Horde, or just some little things to either bait out arrows or bait out a spell like Log with the deck that we're playing. So yeah, basically what a bait deck is a deck that will try to force out your opponent's spells on something minuscule, like for example a Princess or a Goblin Gang. Like you'll try to force out your opponent's Log with that, so then your barrel can be kind of unstoppable for your opponent, because if they don't have the spell to counter your win condition, usually they don't have any way to fully prevent it from getting damaged. So yeah, that's basically how you play these bait decks. This guy did get some good damage already. Mother Witch is actually a very annoying card for bait decks, unfortunately, because our Goblin Gang and stuff is basically just going to be free piggies real estate for him. But I think we can do fine here if we play our cards right. Bait is also a deck that can really control the field very easily. I feel like if you get yourself in the right spot and you force out your opponent's spells on the right things. Because, yeah, I mean, I feel like bait decks, when you force them to play their spells onto your barrels and stuff like that, or whatever other cards you might have to bait out stuff from your opponent, then your defense becomes really strong because your opponent can't use that spell to then kill your Goblin Gang. So, for example, you can just kill a graveyard so easily if they waste their arrows on your barrel and they don't have that for offense to support their graveyard. This guy actually does have a Pekka, surprisingly. Man, I don't even know what the heck exactly this guy's trying to do right here, but it's low-key working for him so far. We have a kind of high up Inferno Tower here, so that way even if he tries to Ramrider on the left side or right side, it will still go for the Inferno Tower. Perfect placement, and he just tried to distract it, but I think everything is kind of dead right here. We do have our Evo Barrel, which could be pretty nice, but I do have to obviously be careful of the Mother Witch. Even so, I'm just going to spam a little bit, guys. I think our Evo Barrel will kind of die to his Ramrider, and he does get the Mother Witch going, but honestly, he didn't really get the perfect placement there, so we're actually doing pretty good. Inferno Tower somehow does pretty much fully kill the Ramrider, and we're just chipping this guy out little by little. This guy really doesn't have the right spell for us, so I feel like with a lot of these bait decks, if they don't have the perfect spell for you, they're pretty much just going to be in a very bad spot right off the bat. The only really notably bad thing for bait decks right now, guys, is definitely the Dagger Duchess, though. Ever since Dagger Duchess has come out, I feel like it's been a little bit harder to play bait, but to be fair, I saw some bait players did do really well last season, like Riley, and obviously if a guy like Riley can finish well, then bait must be pretty broken, right? Okay, wait, that's kind of bad. I didn't know this guy would have lightning. This guy doesn't have a log or something like that, but having the lightning and the zap is definitely going to make our Inferno Tower struggle a little bit more. Oh, I was so scared that Pekka would get a hit there. Wow, Evo Pekka is so bad. I can't believe that didn't get a hit. Guys, I have no idea how that didn't hit. Alright, we're going to have to go for a good log here. Hopefully that can reach the Mother Witch. Oh, it doesn't reach the Mother Witch. I literally just want to kill this Mother Witch right now, more so than anything. That's my main target. Beautiful Inferno Tower right there. He does go for a whole lightning, which might have been a little bit of an overcommit for him, so we could potentially get a nice Goblin Barrel going here pretty soon. Yeah, I'm just going to cycle my barrel here. When he overcommits, I feel like it's pretty easy to punish this guy, and that's just how it works in general with Logbait, where it's kind of like a punish deck as well. Even if your opponent does have the proper spells, sometimes you're just able to get them in a spot where they're kind of low elixir and they can't really do too much to stop your bait cards. We could rocket cycle this guy here, but I feel like there's no point to risk it since we can just kind of cycle these barrels anyways, and he can't really seem to ever fully stop them. Yeah, he does go for a Dark Prince right there, but rocket plus a log here should be able to take us a very nice win. Yeah, man, bait is just a classic. I'll give bait a 9 out of 10 just because I feel like a lot of decks use it to at least a small extent. Our next category right now, guys, is going to be control. Now, you might be wondering what the difference is between control and a cycle deck, because this deck here does kind of look like a cycle deck. You know, we have the skeletons, we have the Ice Spirit, and a pretty quick cycle overall, but really what a control deck is pretty much just a deck that could have cycle cards, could have something else, but it really just focuses on having a very strong defense, and then just kind of chipping your opponent out, usually not getting a crazy amount of damage all at one time, but just slowly over the course of the game by having good defense, you're then able to get some good offense, because you can spend that elixir that you use really well on offense instead of having to over-defend stuff. So we do get a great Magic Archer here. Just by the fact that we got our king up, I was able to be a little bit more aggressive, so kind of demonstrating perfectly how control decks work. But yeah, this is pretty good. I'll get my miner going in the safe spot right now. This guy more than likely does have tornadoes, so we're going to have to be a bit careful. He does also have the Boss Bandit, which will be kind of interesting, guys. Boss Bandit, man, is just so much better than I thought it would be. See, if this was in the Pekka meta, guys, I feel like Boss Bandit would just suck, but since nobody's running big stuff like Pekka very often anymore, it feels like it's just so good right now. So, yeah, it's not too pleasant to face, honestly. We do counter it pretty nicely right there, though. Yeah, control decks just always have really, really solid defense, because I feel like with cycle decks, you kind of have a deck that has a really quick cycle, which kind of allows you to defend stuff usually, but control decks, they just like will pretty much always have the cards you need at the right times, and you don't always have to just get through a ton of cycles to be able to defend stuff properly. You're pretty much just always going to have it on hand. Oh, I played my Ice Spirit a second late right there. Nice Magic Archer, though. He does go for a late Tornado. That was a very bad Tornado by this guy, so we're looking pretty good. He does go for the Evo Cannon. Honestly, pretty good Evo Cannon by him. I'll get the Stein going in the corner right now. This guy's actually being surprisingly passive. He's not really going in for all that many Goblin Drills. And guys, what I feel like is so nice about control decks is just the fact that you can really control the tempo of the game very nicely, because you just yeah, basically just control stuff. I mean, exactly what the title of the category of deck says. Wow, beautiful magic archer. I can't believe that got so much damage right there. We're actually destroying this guy right now. We just cannot even give this guy a single chance to go in for his Goblin Drill. But he has been holding on to his Goblin Drill for the last 5 minutes straight right now. Beautiful magic archer damage. He does go in for that. Can I maybe get a tornado off here? Yeah, we do get a tornado off. Oh my goodness, that was more damage than I expected. We might just take the win right here, guys. Yeah, this man literally just went for one Goblin Drill all game and then just was stuck defending the entire time after that. Pretty much shows you exactly what a control deck can do to a person inside of Clash Royale. I'm giving control a 10 out of 10. We'll have to see if there's anything else that can match it. Guys, this feels so wrong, but here we are playing Giant Beatdown. Beatdown is definitely one of the oldest deck categories in the game, maybe even the oldest actually, because I'm pretty sure Beatdown decks were a thing before cycle decks were actually in the game. Even way back in 2016, before cycle cards were out, people were already playing stuff like these giant beatdown decks and things. So yeah, man, it's definitely an interesting deck category. I feel like sometimes it's just insanely strong. Like when Pekka was meta, there were so many Pekka Goblin Giant decks going around and so many good combinations for beatdown, but at other times, it kind of just turns into a cycle meta, and Beatdown really does struggle. So I feel like Beatdown these days has really developed to kind of just rely on broken cards, which is kind of a weird spot for it to be in my opinion. Anyways, that better die. Tell me that dies.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Alright, guys, I need my get back here, so I'm just going to giant the bridge. I don't know if I should go for, like, a prince or something, because I don't know. Oh, he already gets back to his Pekka. Man, guys, this is not looking good for us, man. I don't know why he robbed that Pekka shot and somehow got it for no reason. But yeah, hopefully we're able to punish. Okay, you know what? I could Prince here soon, but I kind of just want to make sure I can actually defend first, to be honest. Okay, I was going to say if E-Drag chained there. Nice, E-Drag is actually not chaining too much. Okay, guys, we do have our Prince right here, but it's going to be a little bit difficult to actually get it going properly, because he's going to always have, I think, a Lumberjack to counter it. Hey, we do get our King up here, though, guys, and I feel like we can probably just go for a Giant at the bridge. Never mind. Never mind, I'm not going to play anything. Okay, now we could go for this here. He has no Lumberjack in cycle. He wasted the Ice Whiz. He does get a Bar Barrel going, but that's not really enough for him. Hold up, could we get an Evo Bomber potentially on this Barbarian? Yo, this might be a ton of damage right here, guys. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get a win, though. Ooh, he does get his Pekka right at the bridge right there, but man, look at all that damage, guys. Beatdown decks just are so easily able to overwhelm your opponents. Like, this guy has a whole Pekka to counter me, man, but, you know, just the overwhelm potential of Giant Prince is kind of crazy, and obviously Beatdown includes other stuff too, like Lava Hound, Golem, all sorts of different things. Anyways, I'll play my Evo Zap right here. You know, maybe I should have played my arrows, actually, but it's all good. We could probably take most of his tower with a lightning. Hold up, this is bad. I kind of messed up, but actually we're okay. Tell me that dies. No, that's not going to die. It's not your fault, guys. I know people always comment that it's their fault when I look at the camera. It's not your guys' fault, okay? Wait, let me just lightning here. Tell me that hits it. Okay, it does hit it. I thought I missed for a second, to be honest. Okay, I'm just going to get my zap going here. We have our arrows as well. And it looks like we take a very easy win with Beatdown. That was actually pretty surprising that we just demolished Pekka like that. Guys, I have to give Beatdown a 9 out of 10. Now, last but least, guys, we're playing Siege. And yes, I said last but least because Siege is the least deck type in the game. But yeah, we're playing basically Siege is just Xbow or Mortar, essentially is what it is. Just a building that can hit your opponent's tower from the other side of the map. I guess by that logic, you could call the Furnace a Siege building, but nah, just Xbow and Mortar is what it is. Anyways, we're playing Xbow right here, which actually did finish #1 in the world last season, so that might actually give Siege some bonus points here today, guys, because I wasn't planning on ranking it super high, but because it finished #1, maybe we have to give it a bit of a better ranking. And also, if we can actually do well with it here, we could be looking at some pretty good ratings. Nice damage already. Guys, I did hear that the Xbow actually got a 5% secret damage buff, so that definitely is going to help us out right here. Maybe that's actually part of the reason why Xbow was able to finish #1 last season, because, yeah, apparently got a secret 5% damage buff, I heard, which definitely can add up for a card like Xbow that just shoots really quickly and kind of needs that extra DPS to be able to break through some stuff. This guy might go for like a cannon, so I'm gonna knight right here, and he's in big trouble. Musketeer will get some damage on my tower, but it shouldn't be too bad. Is that gonna die? Okay, I probably should have logged. I just was hoping the Xbow would kill that with the damage buff. Unfortunately, looks like he's gonna be okay. Man, I can barely not get my Tesla in time. Wait, this is actually really bad, guys. Hold up, that's gonna get a lot of damage. Tell me that's only one hit here. Okay, not too bad, guys. But anyways, guys, Siege has to be the most hated type of deck in all of Clash Royale history, I think. I don't know if there's ever been a deck more hated than Siege. I mean, stuff like RG has been hated on in the past, but then people kind of got over it and they stopped hating on it. But for Siege, man, it's literally just never stopped getting hate. Feels like even to this day, I still hear people complaining about Xbow all the time. And I guess rightfully so, right? It's a pretty annoying type of deck to face. Wow, Xbow does get on the tower there, man. Just one small slip up by this guy, one small misplaced card or mistimed card, and man, he took quite the beating to his tower. I'm going to take a bit of damage myself here, but I think we're overall in a pretty good spot, as long as this Xbow is able to find its way to the tower, hopefully. Honestly, I could still have a chance to lose, but hopefully not, though. Guys, people always say how Siege is some of the highest skilled, or Siege decks are some of the highest skill decks in Clash Royale. Man, I disagree, guys. I think Siege is some of the lowest skill type of decks in Clash. Siege are some of the lowest skill type of decks in Clash Royale, because, man, you don't have to cross the bridge to get damage on their tower, bro. You literally just play full-on defense and, you know, just play your win condition on your own side of the map, man. You can't even have the guts to cross the bridge. That is unfortunate. Yo, Xbow does get on the tower there just for a very small lock, but it actually got some great damage. And at this point, we're just going to kind of fireball cycle this guy out, because that's really half of Siege is just, it's just really spell cycling your opponent out is what it is. So, yeah, we take a very, very easy win there against 2.6. Let's go. I'll give Siege a 7 out of 10, and overall I think the best category of decks has to be Control.